Best of luck this year.
Appreciate
We'll
it.
be there to see you. As always, a class act. Take care of the family. Good luck with the baseball team, and I'll see you somewhere
Right.
soon.
Appreciate it, Mike.
He's
Thank you.
Michael Gover, head man of the Southwestern Warriors. He's going to step aside, and we're going to bring aboard, I think Jeff's next, but I'm going to make sure. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We're going to bring Jeff Murphy aboard next, and while we're waiting, we are at Buffalo Wings and Rings on South Highway 27. Here comes Jeff. He's been to practice, I have no doubt. Hope he didn't have to cut it short because of me, because if he did, he won't be happy with me. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
How's everybody? Family
great.
good?
Oh, doing well. Everybody's
Excellent.
doing well.
That's excellent. That's the most important
No
thing.
doubt about it. No
All right.
doubt about it.
And the second most important things, how's the softball team?
Oh, we're doing well. We're working. We're getting ready to get this thing started.
This is me and you and a few people watching us and preparing for the baseball, softball season. I want to thank the folks here at Buffalo Wings and Rings and everybody that makes this possible. But I also want to thank you. This time of year, you're not very busy, are you?
Yeah. No, not really. Not really.
Not at all.
No.
Got all kinds of time.
Yeah, no, we appreciate this. This is awesome. This is a good location to have it. I mean, you can't beat it.
How's a former, still a friend of mine for life and former teammate Dave? How's David doing?
Oh, he's doing well. I mean, he's at practice every day.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
He's still around.
That's what I want to hear. He's out there every day.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. He
mellowed
can't
out
give
a
it
lot
up.
too, hasn't he?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
He can't. He's never going to give it up. Never. No doubt about it.
All right, man. I took a look at last year's roster and this year's roster. 20 and 17 last year. A lot of people would say I'd kill for that.
Yeah.
And I know when I talk to you that's just the stepping stone into this season, and I appreciate first of all, let's do facilities. My goodness.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like I always thank the administration for that. I mean, we can't beat it. I mean,
I played down there when it was one color, dirt.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome, man. I mean, we can get out there whenever. I mean, and when it rains, we can get out there and at least get some infield work in if we need to.
That's
So
got to be a plus. All right, we always will go however you want to do this. We'll start and come down the list, old to young, those that played, those that are going to play. We'll start in the pitching circle. You tell me where you want to go.
We'll go by grade here.
Let's go by grade. All right.
We'll start with Kaylee Harris. She came back for her fifth year, and that was a big plus for us. I mean, having her come back is huge.
One of your leading hitters last year.
Yes, one of our top hitters, and it was big to get her back. And she plays middle infield. You can't. It's hard to replace a middle infielder. So we love having her back. And then we have Addie Langford, another senior that we have. She's been behind the plate for 4 years now.
Yep.
Another great leader.
Got to have one of them too.
Oh yeah, she's great. She knows exactly what we're doing, and we can't replace that. I mean, especially leadership-wise behind the plate. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's I can't even explain it.
No, it's right. I
It's
think
great.
the word great fits.
But then we have Jasmine Peavy. Jasmine Peavy, another middle infielder. She can play just about anywhere. Anywhere we need her to play, she's able to play it, and that's huge. Another good leader. I mean, she's especially
she can hit it a little bit too.
She hits the ball well, and Addie's been hitting the ball very well too. And we've had 2 scrimmages so far, and she's hitting in the 2 spot right now, and she's been doing very well. So those 3 seniors are huge for us, not only on the field but in leadership roles as well. And we can't replace that, and we love to have them. And our juniors, we got Kane. I mean,
she's back in the circle.
Yes, she's in the circle, and at the plate, she's one of the better ones in the county. I'd say I would put her up against anybody. So I mean, you can't replace her. I mean, she's our only pitcher right now. So we got to make sure she stays healthy, and we're going to make sure of that. And just her leadership as well. I mean, she does a great job out there, and I can't say enough words about her. She does. I mean, she's Carly.
She's got plenty of pitching coach help too, doesn't she?
Oh yeah. Oh, no doubt about it.
What
no
a
doubt
staff
about it.
you have. Yeah.
Yes. And then we also have Maddie Lynn. Maddie Lynn's a junior. She's an outfielder that we have. She's getting her opportunity this year to step up and play left field. Hopefully she can take advantage of that, and I think she will. Another good player, has a great attitude, positive all the time, and she does great out there. So those are our only 2 juniors that we have. And then our sophomores, we got Jaslyn Shadowan, another good player, outfielder, can play about anywhere, infield, outfield. Right now we got her in the outfield. She's also a catcher. She catches too. So she plays just, I mean, another player that we can put anywhere, and we love to have her. And then we have Emmy Goforth. Emmy Goforth is our first baseman. She can play corner position, play outfield, and she's great first baseman. Great. I mean, she's a great person to be around. Good attitude, like I said, every positive. The attitude around the whole team is just great. I mean, we couldn't ask for anything better. Kennedy Asher, she's another sophomore that we have. She's an outfielder, and she's developing pretty well. I mean, she's getting there. This is her first year playing, so she's come a long way since we got her. So she just got to keep working and make sure she continues to get better, and maybe she'll get an opportunity in the future. Then we have Molly Lucas, Coach Lucas's daughter. I mean, you know what you're going to get with a coach's daughter.
Exactly.
So she also hits the ball very well. She's a corner player, third, first, anywhere in there. She played second a little bit last year, so she can play just about anywhere on the infield. But she's another player that we love. I mean, great attitude. She just does everything we ask her to do.
And being a coach's daughter,
yes.
you, like you said, you pretty well know what you're getting.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. And she never causes any problems.
Don't bring that stuff home with you either.
Right.
I don't.
Exactly. Then we also have our freshman. We have Kylie Wilson. Kylie Wilson's another new player that we got. This is her first year playing with the high school team, and she's an outfielder, and she's also developing player. She's doing pretty well. She's getting better every day, and that's all we ask. Another good attitude, positive player, and hopefully she can continue to get better, and maybe she'll get an opportunity in the future. Then we also have some middle schoolers that we have on our team. An 8th grader, Emery Ann Piles, another player. She's playing outfield right now, but she can also play infield. I mean, we've got a bunch of players that can play multiple positions, and that's great. That's what we want. We want a bunch of players that can play anywhere, just in case we need somebody to step up. It's because, like I said, we've only got 12 players on our roster right now, so we've got to make sure that you can play multiple positions just in case something does happen. So that's big. And we also have 7th grader Sarah White. Sarah White's another good player. I know you know her pretty well.
I know her well enough to know that I missed her when she checked into the first varsity basketball game, and I told her age wrong the second time. So, yeah, Sarah and I are very tight.
So, yeah, Sarah's another. She just got with us. She's been playing basketball.
She's a competitor.
Oh, yeah, great player, great athlete. And like you said, she's a great competitor. She'll give you everything she's got. So, hopefully she can continue to get better, and maybe she'll get an opportunity this year. You never know. Who knows, and she'll definitely be able to help us on the base path for sure, because she's very athletic, runs well. So hopefully she'll get that opportunity and take advantage of it. And those are our 12 players. Like I said, we don't have very many players, but we've got some good athletes, positive attitudes, and
get you a drink. You talked. I appreciate you doing that. I want to hear about your team and your players. I don't want to hear me rattle, but I'll give you a chance to at least get a sip of water. The other thing is, if I hadn't exhausted my eligibility, I wasn't real old and bad slow, or slower than I used to be even, I would want to play. I love the attitude that you bring, the enthusiasm, and I know the kids, it's infectious.
Oh, yeah.
You're either around it, you're either going to have to run or get in.
Yes, exactly.
And I appreciate that attitude. All right. Let's talk about strengths of this team. Power hitting team.
Yes.
Put the ball. I know last year you were fence hitters.
Yes, I believe we could do quite a bit of things this year. We can hit the ball. We can hit the long ball. We can hit the gaps. We can bunt a lot. I mean, we can do multiple things, and I'm very excited to see what we can do when this regular season starts up tomorrow. And the offensive. We try to keep it very simple, okay? Because I mean, this is a very complex game. And when our offensive philosophy, we just try to keep it simple, barrel the ball up, hit it hard. I mean, that's all we try to do. I mean,
I know things have changed a lot over the years, and I remember that's how baseball and softball was taught when I was going. You tried to put the barrel of the bat on the ball.
Yep.
Now I've got a grandson who's 12, and he tells me 12 different positions that his knee, his right foot, and his hands and stuff are supposed to be in, and I tell him, I said, I don't care if you stand on your head, make solid contact.
Exactly.
But I do like that approach, because you can get this so complex that you played.
Yeah,
If you're at the plate and a thought in your head is anything other than what that thing that's being thrown at you,
No doubt
I don't
about
care what that thought is. It's negative. It's not helping the situation.
No doubt about it. And we try to we got barrel rounds where we just barrel the ball up, and we try to do that as much as we can because, that's the goal is to get up there. If you hit the ball hard, you beat the pitcher. That's what we say.
And if somebody makes a great play, they made a great play. More times than not, they're not going to make that great play. You and I are on the same page. I have no eligibility left nor talent, or I would want to sign up right now. District, you play in a tough district. If you throw Rock and Pulaski and you guys in a hat every year, you've got 3 good softball teams. Casey, on occasion, they do. I mean, I've seen them. And I don't know this year exactly. I haven't had a chance to talk to anybody over there. But when you play in a district like that, you can have a good season.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
draw one of the, your second and third or wherever you are, and you have to play one of them on the opening day, and you catch their pitcher hot, and you go home.
Yeah, the district's always tough.
And there are other districts that, I hate to say it, if you show up and get 9 or 10 out there, you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah. Like you said, the district's always tough. Rock's always got a solid team. They do very good over there with developing players. And Pulaski, they've been great for the past 6-7 years. So, they're always going to be tough. But hopefully we can make a little noise this year. That's our goal, and I think we've got the players that can do it.
Honestly, last year when we were down here prior to the season, did you see that as a 20-win team?
Oh yeah, I think.
Okay, I knew that answer. Why did I ask that?
I feel like we let a few slip away from us too. So I feel like we could have got more. But our defense is where we got to get better. And I tell them every day, our defense, or we'll go as far as our defense will take us.
You're going to open up tomorrow night?
Yes,
we're going to go to North Laurel.
Get to North Laurel, yes sir. We scrimmaged them a week ago from Tuesday, and they're solid team.
Historically, a solid softball program.
Yes, they have always got good athletes, good players. We're excited for the challenge, and
I guess the bad news is this year their basketball team got knocked out early enough. All those kids will already be in softball shape.
Yeah. They were there for our scrimmage. They were there. They've got a very solid team, but if we come ready to play and make the defensive plays, we've got a shot against anybody. I truly believe that.
Going anywhere exciting, playing in anything that we've got to look forward to? Or?
We've got the Brinley Bigelow Memorial Tournament coming up.
Oh, I'm so glad. I didn't know there was going to be one.
Yes.
Oh, I hope we can be a part of that.
March 26th is the date that we have for that one. March 26th
is it going to be at your place?
Yes, it's at our place.
On a Saturday?
Yes, sir.
Let's see if I can put a word into management. I'd love to. I'd love to cover that.
We had a couple drop out, but we've got 5 teams. So it's going to be a good tournament one day, about 5 games. So it'll be fun, and it'll be especially because it's for a good cause. Brinley was one of the best athletes to ever come through this county, and who knows? She's especially Somerset.
I'm a whole lot older than you are in my memory, male or female. What an athlete! But again, we miss her, and we'll make sure I will see if we can work something out.
We're also going up to E-Town to play in their little showcase. So we're going up there, and then we've got a couple little triangles that we're having at our place. So it's a tough schedule. We're playing some new teams, So
got Southwestern back on the schedule, right?
Yes.
So that's behind us now, and everybody's going to.
Yes. Coach Burkett texted me back in October saying we're allowed to play, and the first thing I did was call Sumner. So we got that scheduled up real quick. And
okay, will you all play 2 games that day? Will you play a JV game? If so, here I want to volunteer. I want you in a headset, Sumner in a headset, and me in the middle of you all calling the JV game on air. I don't think I could think of a better situation to be in than to hear the 2 of you all talk softball.
Yeah, that would be fun.
It would be, wouldn't it?
I'd enjoy that. That would be some good stuff.
I'm making a lot. I'm cashing a lot, or writing a lot of checks. I probably can't cash here, but
hey, we can make it happen.
We'll make something happen. Jeff, I appreciate you sharing with us. We've still got 5 minutes, so we can go about anywhere you want. First place I want to go is your coaching staff, because there's a couple members of your immediate family that you ought to mention.
Oh, yes. I've got my wife on the coaching staff.
But again, I had to, with Michael Gover and with Sumner, I had to say, well, your wife's at home and you're away. Yeah. You guys have turned this into we can spend time together. Is that a good thing or not so good? Okay.
It's a great thing, and we're also getting our little boy involved.
Yes.
So that's great. I mean, he loves coming to the field, and that's what we want. We want him to come to the field. And we also, as you know, we got Dave. Dave's on our staff. He does a great job. Does a great job with our pitchers, and that's his main focus now. And we're trying to get some job duties off him because he's been doing it for a while, So
he has, and you all have had a transition over there that is an envy of a lot of places to where, and it seems to be seamless. And if anybody knew David growing up and knew David when Brittany was coming along and pitching, and if anybody knew that family, their success was not accidental.
Yeah, exactly. No, Dave's he does a great job, a great job. I mean, I wouldn't be here without him,
And if he's asking a kid to put forth the effort, trust me, I'm not preaching, but he put forth that effort.
Oh, yeah.
He knows what it takes,
Exactly.
and if he sees it in you, he's trying to get it out of you.
Exactly. I think the only time this team would state 2010, he was the head man. So, I mean, he knows what he's doing. So we always make sure to get his input. So and we also got Jordan Adcock. She's also our assistant coach. She works with the outfielders. Does a great job out there, and we've seen a lot of development out of those players. So I give a lot of credit to her. She does a great job. She's a teacher at Hopkins over there with me, and she's a former outfielder, and she does a great job out there too.
What's the story now that you've got the turf field? I don't know if that's even a correct term, but we'll call it the turf field. Now that how much has that lessened the amount of field work that you all have to do?
It's great. I mean, when all you got to do is come out and put the foul lines down on the outfield grass.
That's it?
It's perfect. Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't have to buff and fluff.
I mean, every now and then you got to get out there with a broom and stuff.
Fluff it a little bit.
But, I mean, it beats having to
Sold
go out
the
there.
lawnmower,
Yeah,
got rid of it,
yeah.
don't need it.
All we got's a golf cart now. That's all we need. And a blower. That's all we need. So it's
equipment, golf cart, and a weed eater or a leaf blower. I love it, man.
It's great. It's great. I mean, like I said, I think that Mr. Lively and the board for all that stuff, man. You can't beat it. You can't beat it.
Well, I think Dave Dorsey and he's a year younger than I am, but we were in the same baseball class because of birthday. I think we were 6 the first time we played down in the hole in a Pee Wee league. And I remember it as that. Of course, Dave and them lived right behind it. I got big enough at some point in time to maybe foul one all the way to his house. I don't know. That field has such memory. 60 plus a lot. And we've grown up. People associated with baseball and softball grew up with that field, and Charlie Taylor ran a softball league down there for years. Now just to see it be a showcase of high school sports, you take pride.
No doubt about it.
I don't have a dog in the fight, but I take pride in the fact that
it's great. I mean, can't beat it. Dave talks about it all the time, all the memories he's had there, and it's great.
It really is, and the support that the administration shows, and of course Coach Burkett stepping in as the AD now. I've known him, and again I call him Coach Burkett. It should be AD Burkett, I guess, to be, but I don't care about being politically correct either. I know he is supporting you guys, and here's what I want you all to have: as exciting a season as Jeff brought to this interview.
Yeah, well,
that's what I'm looking for.
I hope we do. We're looking forward to it. We're expecting a good year. I mean, we set the standard with 20. We want to make sure we get the first round of the district tournament, and we've worked very hard.
You got beat by a really good team.
Yes,
I was there. I saw that game.
But we've put a lot of work into this offseason, make sure that weight room was a big part of it, long toss program. So
I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of people just don't understand. When I was growing up, now here I am way back in again, weightlifting for a baseball or softball player was almost, oh no, you can't do that. It'll make you muscle bound was the word I heard. You know what it'll make you? Bigger, faster, stronger, and you'll outplay the ones that don't.
Exactly. That's what we did that today. Our practice today was going to the weight room. We got a game tomorrow, and that's how important it is to us to make sure we stay in the weight room and stay healthy, number one, because like I said, we've got 12 players on our roster. And the most important thing is we got to make sure we stay healthy.
And that weight room has a lot to do with staying healthy.
Exactly. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're on the same page. Jeff, Keep smiling, man.
Yes, sir.
Look forward to a big year.
We're ready to go.
Don't know exactly when we'll be there for the first one, but we may try to reschedule for the Brinley.
Yes.
Bigelow.
Yes,
I'll
March
try to
26th.
work something out.
Okay. Sounds good.
He's Jeff Murphy. I'm Mike
Thank
Kerr.
you, sir.
Hey, best of luck,
Yes,
Lady
sir.
Jumpers.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. That is Jeff Murphy. Here at Buffalo Wings and Rings with a baseball softball coaches show. Right now, I am pleased to be joined by the head Briar Jumper baseball coach, Phil Grundy. Coach, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Mike? Good to see you again.
Long time, man, and it's been too long. I love when you sit me down and educate me about the things I don't know about the game of baseball, and I look forward to the next time we get together.
There's not much you don't know about baseball.
I hear you. That was a layup. All right, I got one personal question, then we're going to go talk about the Briar Jumpers. When was your first year? 2001-ish, 2-ish?
2002 season.
Okay, I was trying to get my memory around that, and I knew it had been 20 years plus or minus. So
I think it's 21st season, yeah.
How does it feel to be the graybeard of coaches?
It's the same. We've actually, it's gotten a little easier, believe it or not. I mean, we're spread a little thin more, probably. I think we got too much going on at the field. We're trying to improve that. One of the things that we always talk about is when's the right time to get out. And my time's coming like everyone else's does. And we want to leave that program a lot better than we found it. Coach T left it really, really high at a really, really high level. So it just seems like I get a little addicted to the improvements of the facility. And, we're over there day and night during season, but now we kind of got a lot of help and a lot of support. Our booster club is great and our parents are great and I can't say enough about our coaching staff. So, our administration's been terrific. The turf infield, as far as letting us go on some other things, indoor facility, all those things, I think it's just a beautiful facility. I think it's a great place to play. Now we just got to make sure we do our part as coaches. I second everything you said about the effort y'all put in and the fruits that it's borne. It's a pleasure to walk by and be associated with that program. So let's talk about it. You're off to a great start. You got the first opening game win over a program's pretty good baseball program, South Laurel. Let's spend just a handful of seconds about last night, and then we'll talk about the season. Yeah, well, I said this, I think, earlier in some other conversations that, a team's got a pretty good team coming back when you hadn't heard from them from 7 or 8 years, and all of a sudden they want to play you twice. Yeah. So they either know you're down or they're way up. So I don't know which one it was. They thought we were down or they were up, but it was a great game last night. Actually, we should have thrown a shutout. In truth, we should have had a shutout. A couple of missed pop-ups and in the wrong position at first base and wrong position at third base. Just a couple of little things, and it's more of the kids will know what to do. I think they just got a little amped up. And if anything, I think it was more the nerves of the first game anxiety. But we started Josh Gross. He pitched terrific. Popwell hits a moonshot home run with the wind blowing in. I think Josh had 2 RBIs. He had the sac fly to win the game. Then just prior to the game, we'd take an infield outfield, and our plan was to use Gross and then Popwell, our junior senior. And what I think is the quicker we can get them out there, quicker we get their innings experience built up. They're on a pitch count 50 to 60 at this point because it's 70 beautiful weather yesterday. So it kind of and right after infield, Pop came up and said his arm was bothering him. So that slid us back. And of course, I talked to Coach Wallace and Dr. Loy, our team physician. And so we shut Pop down as far as throwing. And that put an 8th grader, which was Cole, my youngest. And he was the next up of the guys that had thrown a bullpen that were due. He was scheduled to pitch on Friday against Lincoln at home. So we're just lucky that I don't know if we were lucky enough that we were smart enough or that we were lazy that we didn't throw a bullpen the day before with Cole. But his arm was healthy. He came out and did a great job. I mean, anytime an 8th grader, and we've had, believe me, we've had probably 10 or 12 8th graders play for us at the varsity level over the last 20 years. And it's nothing new, but it's always amazing that that some of them are ready for it and some of them aren't. And we do have a couple more 8th graders who are going to get shots over the next couple of weeks. So it's going to be fun. But anytime you win opening day, it's exciting for the kids too. Good energy at Charlie Taylor Field too.
Let's talk about the old guys that are coming back. You just mentioned 2 plus Cole, but let's go through the other names that people would recognize that are going to be back with you this year.
Well, the big ones are our entire infield's seniors. You got Tanner Popwell. He took that 5th year. He's 18, came back. You saw him. I mean, he's just a terrific kid, hard worker, a crazy power. He just, believe it or not, he hadn't played a lot of baseball since he's 12, 13 years old. And when he got here last year, everything we got from him, we considered it gravy. It was just awesome to have him. He pitched 17, 18 innings. Hit the ball in the DH slot. He was terrific all year, hitting the 4-5 all year long. Then you got Logan Purcell, and Logan was kind of one of our team captains. All those guys are, but Logan was one that hung with us when he wasn't getting an opportunity. All his freshman year, of course, he sat behind that loaded sophomore class. Then when he missed his sophomore year with COVID, the COVID season, then last year he didn't start the first probably 15 games. Got in, did some things, and then he won a job. And he was with us. And like I said, what the lineup we start opening day with is very rarely the one we end in the postseason. So I think that's a testament. We try to get everybody fired up to play. And he's been that guy for us. He's still just a great leader. But then you got Cole Reynolds, like I said 100 times. Cole's the best shortstop I've played with, against, coached, watched. The way he carries himself, it's amazing. If you watch him at practice, the level of energy he brings and the excitement and the leadership. And the thing that I wish is that he could enjoy this ride a little bit. Him and all of us. I mean, he's done so much here at Somerset. He's going to go down as one of the greatest, if not the greatest shortstop, even statistically, especially defensively. Just enjoy it. If I could give anybody advice, I always say that, I've had 2 kids that came through the program. I got a 3rd one now, and man, it's too quick. It goes too fast. Appreciate the good times and, work through the bad ones. It'll all turn out in the end. And then at third base, we got Jaden Bryant. Jaden's another one, just like Logan Purcell, not a lot of opportunity, not because we didn't think he was good. It was because he was deep behind Dylan Burton and even some other guys that were older than him, 2 years older. And third base is a position so vital to us. And so he's got a lot of pressure on him this year, and I'm hoping we can take a little bit away from him as far as talking to him a lot more and relaxing him. And we're going to let these guys go out and compete. And then when you slide down to the juniors, I mean, you got Josh Gross. I mean, Josh is phenomenal. Josh is getting a lot of interest right now at the Division I pitching. And I think that he could hit at the Division I level too, but I think his upside's going to be pitching right now. And we're real close with him on pitch counts yesterday, but he threw 50 pitches, 52, which is pretty stretched out for the first outing, but it was, like I said, a beautiful day. But we got, Jake.
Go ahead.
You want me to hit the juniors or you want to go positions?
No, you're good, bro. You're on a roll, man. My man.
Well, I always like to start pitching. I was a pitcher. I always had, those seniors are going to be our, the main cog of our program. You know that. And then it comes down to, can we compete and on the mound? And this year we're young. We graduated. I made a statement. We threw 17 different pitchers last year in a varsity game. And we returned about 30 of those innings total, 35. So the rest of them are new, young. Like I said, Cole's already been in the game, pitched great. Griffin Lloyd pitched the other day in the scrimmage against West Jessamine and was the best velocity his velocity that day was as good as I saw in opening day in a long time. So he's going to be nice. It's just it's a depth situation where we don't have enough of it. Popwell, if we got to find out what's going on with his arm, you got Jace Combs, Kate Samalas pitching tomorrow against Dunbar. We're going to roll a whole bunch of different guys out there over the next few days. Collier White, that's kind of the guy we're trying to set up for a closer role. Great kid. The newcomers, Jamison Coomer, Reagan New, freshman. Connor Phelps is a transfer, and Isaiah Lewis, all new to me. Getting an opportunity to work with them, and they've all done great. It's just a matter if we can get the innings out of them that it's going to take without hurting their feelings. Our schedule's tough enough that your feelings can get hurt quite a bit, And we got to be better coaches this year. I mean, last year we could jump them and chew them out because they've been through the battles with us. This year, not so much. They haven't been through it. So it's really hard for us to say, hey, get your head out of your tail, do this, this, and this, when they've never been in this kind of pressure before. So it's just going to be a growth.
You mentioned the coaches. Go ahead quickly through your coaching staff, because I know you want to thank the people who put in the time and effort with you.
Yeah, I'm so lucky, and I'm shocked that they want to stay around me this long. But I think James Sainin is ninth season. David Akins is 7th. Mike Reynolds is 5th year. Kevin Wallace is 8th year. We got Jordan Newton came out this year back, but it's his first year. He's just more of he's working just with our catchers. I don't know if you knew Blake Abbott, our sophomore starting catcher, who was projected to be a starting catcher, broke his hand sliding into third on a steal. So he's out for another 4.5 weeks. And then Reed Sullivan, a former player of mine, he's helping us with the JV pitching and doing some things. But this year, I think everybody's really picked it up a notch. I mean, Coach Reynolds, like I said, we probably had 80 open gyms, and he was at all of them. I mean, he was we traveled out of state and took some kids to coaching or some hitting camps and some pitching camps and some catching. And I always think we need to be moving, trying to find the best opportunity for our kids. But it's just, I mean, all these coaches are good. And they enjoy being around it, and for the most part they do it for free. So not many coaches do that.
How about the region? And we'll just wrap this up after this just a minute, because you've got stuff to do, and we've got 8 other coaches we're going to talk to here over the next little bit. But who do I need to write down? I know some of the usual suspects, but who do you look at this year and say you got to take care of them in the 12?
Pulaski.
Okay.
Pulaski County beat us in the district championship last year, and they had a great season, got a great coach and a great returning group. Our goal is just try to beat them. You just got to win one game. In the big scheme of things, it's 1 and out. So we just got to find a way to win those. I think Pulaski will be under the same pressure we've been under over the last few years. You got a target on your back. Danville probably on paper looks better than Pulaski. I don't believe they are. I think Pulaski's depth defensively and the way Coach Mayfield coaches them up, I think gives Pulaski an advantage in those games. But Danville 1 through 4 arms, they're as good as anyone. And with Pulaski, it's they've got 6, 7 guys that can go out and get you out, and that's the depth that we've had over the years. But that's who I would imagine. I think West showed us they got a D1 pitcher pitched against us the other night going to Kentucky. He's sharp. But I think those are the guys, and I'm hoping by the end of the year, we're there.
I would say that I would agree with most of that and what little my knowledge. Let's do one thing. Let's close this on last time you and I talked baseball. We were in Danville. It was the end of the region. A game for the ages, as far as I'm concerned. It had a little bit of everything except a dancing clowns at part. But that game ended almost with as much drama as any high school baseball game I was ever around. And that's how close, as you said, regions and states and things are played.
Yeah. Obviously. I was going to think. Well, I was thinking if you're going to bring up any cuss word I said during any of those interviews at the end of those games, there's no love lost with me in Danville or in our program in Danville in any sport. Anytime you lose to them, it stings and it hurts for a long time. They had a great team. We had a great team. I love my team, and I felt like, and I still feel like. That it just wasn't meant to be that day. I would think if we played them 7 times, 10 times, whatever, it'd be just like that. It'd be one play separates us, and we didn't make a few plays, and that's how it is in postseason. You chopper, missed fly ball, anything changes momentum in those games, and it was an electric game. Anybody that loves baseball, and I think that kind of helps some of our young guys. Anybody that thinks that they're ready. I always say this about young players: careful what you wish for, because you'll be there before you know it. And once you're there, the game is so much faster. The energy is so much higher, and it's easy to sit in the dugout in JV. And we talk about it all the time. JV, it's a development league for us. It's an opportunity for us to get reps for our young guys to compete for varsity. And then when they get that, it didn't prepare them because the energy, the importance. And I always say these stats are lifetime. Everybody talked about how I was a poor sport or I didn't recover well from losing. I still don't, but that stat goes with me for the rest of my life. You look at my baseball card, I lost 11 games in 1 year. I thought I was dying after all 11. But as you grow older, you realize that that's not the end of the world, losing a game. But for those seniors, they took it hard. And I'm hoping that watching those guys work the second half of that season will inspire this group now to work hard the first half, so we're in the same boat next year, in postseason, giving us opportunity to win another championship.
Best of luck. We'll see you soon at the Diamond on games on LakeCumberlandSports.com. Good luck in the whole season, and when we get a chance, I'll buy you a soda pop.
Let's do it. Thank you all. You guys do a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. Phil Grundy, head baseball coach of the Browns.
And welcome back to Buffalo Wings and Rings, our Lake Cumberland Sports look at high school baseball and softball. And we're meeting with all the coaches tonight, and I am pleasure to bring Coach Brad Gover, the head coach of the Pulaski County Lady Maroons. And, Coach, good to see you.
You too.
How about this weather?
It's been pretty good this week.
Got a snowstorm out of the way.
Yeah, I can't believe that it dried up and warmed up as fast as it did. But
so you guys are back on the field already.
Yeah, we're every day.
We'll talk a little bit about last year and get set for this year. Last year, 26-10, a season that I know you all spoke with you at the end of the season. I know you all had the highest of hopes for that team, but in no way did that team. 26-10 is still something to smile about at the schedule you guys play.
Yeah, we played probably out of the 36 games, we probably played 15 of them were top 20 teams.
Right.
And it didn't end the way we wanted it to, but that happens. It was tough. We had so many seniors. You wanted to see them succeed, and they'd been there for a while, but hats off Southwestern. They knocked us out there at the end, and we're playing a little bit better ball.
You and I go way back. Your family, your older brothers, I've known Goodnight all my life, and we all understand who've played any sport. It doesn't always end the way we want it to end, and it doesn't end where we want it to end, and that can't lessen the fact of how good a softball team you guys had last year and how much fun they were to watch.
Yeah, we were pretty good. Of course, we had the best player in the state of Kentucky on our team, and we wanted to do it for her as much as everybody else, but sometimes it just doesn't go your way.
Let's shift gears out of that. I want to go to something positive, which is 2022. But I do have some good friends of mine, the company I worked for 35 years, Southern Company. Starkville is in our service territory. I spent a lot of nights in Starkville, and I have been getting now for a year, how good is this whole girl? And my answer was wait and see. That's all I would tell them. I said, and they said, well, how good is she? I said, just wait and see. One of them texted me when she was playing. I guess it was Monday night, Tuesday night, whenever it was. Yeah, and somebody texted me and said, hey, she's the real deal. I said, just wait and see. So that's a big plus. But for all of your seniors, and I know you lost the Countryman girls that have been around, and Wilson and Nelson and Strunk, and all those are names that we've talked about, I guess, for 5 years maybe.
Yeah, they've been there quite a while.
And it'd be like Bella, she's – some years from now we're going to say, well, Bella's a senior, and I'm going to say, wow, she's been there. Yeah. All right, let's talk about this year's Lady Maroons, because everybody will still put a bullseye on your back, and you're still planning on fielding, I think, a team. You're going to show up, and you guys are going to be pretty good again. I've heard some people talking about maybe they won't be as good. I think you're all going to be very representative, don't you?
Oh, I think we're going to be extremely competitive. Last year we had all the seniors. We had the experience to go and win a region, and as we talked about, it didn't work out. But this year we don't have the experience as we did last year. But on the other hand, we probably are the most athletic and, group that I've had. anywhere from our catcher to our pitcher. We've got athletes all over the field.
Is Carroll going to catch for you this year?
Carroll will catch quite a few games. Kenzie Pinkston will catch.
Okay.
And we're looking to throw Callie Hannah in there as well. We're working her a lot because we look really good when Carroll and Pinkston are out on the field, because we can put Pinkston, she can play first, she can play third. And if we do run into, a small ball team, we can always put Pinkston on first, Carroll on third. You're not going to get many, you're not going to get much with the short game with those two on the corners.
You talk about small ball, and I know people that follow softball, there's nothing we're going to say that they're not going to already know, but some people might be tuning in. The person in the circle is huge.
Yes.
But the corner infielders and the catcher against certain teams, if you can't field the slap bunts or the whatever, and you can't keep them from putting people on base, and you can't keep pass balls from occurring and all that, suddenly you can run your number one out there on her best day, having her best stuff, and still get beat 2-0 or 1-0. And I don't think a lot of people understand how critical, when you say I've got 3 kids that can catch, I got 2 or 3 kids that can play each corner position, how important that is to a softball team.
Oh, it is. And in years past, we've been maybe too deep at a couple positions, but this year we're switching things every day. I mean, we're moving kids around, playing different positions every day, and we're 2 just about everywhere we go, and sometimes 3 deep. Our outfield's really deep, but our infield right now, it's going to be the most athletic group that I've had since I've been there, all the way to the pitcher, because we're still working on bunt situations, because the pitchers that I'm going to have in the mound this year is my 5th infielder. They're going to make play after play if it's around the circle. We can even leave our first baseman back and just the pitcher come and cover. They're so fast. So we've got a lot of options.
All right, you and I are going to sit here and talk for the next few minutes, but let's make sure we start with your players and positions, names, however you want to do it, class-wise, position-wise. Let's go through all the names so everybody will know who they're going to hear about this year.
Well, I didn't bring a list.
You
with
didn't.
me.
I saw that. I've got a roster here if it helps.
Well, it would help.
Look at the top of that page. That's KHSA, so I hope it's okay.
That should be good. I've got a bunch of 8th graders. We can start over here. I've got Katie Beth Mounts, Logan Newman. I've got Briley Scruggs, Shelby Sellers, Ryan Souter, Brooklyn Thomas, Chloe Carroll.
Carroll's an 8th grader?
8th grader. Avery Davis, Kristen Doolin. So those are my 8th graders. So that tells you what kind of program that we're going to have from this point on. Some of those girls play tons of ball in the summer. I pulled them up because they all have a special talent. They can either run the bases, they're a good fielder, and they're all just wanting to learn. They're itching to learn. They're so coachable, and that's what makes it extremely fun to be around them. They all want to be there. They cannot wait to get to the field, and the group gets along well together. It's you think you got a bunch of 8th graders, the maturity level, but they just want to play softball, and it makes it a lot of fun.
As a coach, if you know you've got the young talent, and you've got the experienced talent, and the young talent can push the experienced talent, but they get along,
yes,
that's kind of getting all the boxes checked, because the 8th graders are going to learn about the game from the older ones.
Yes.
I mean, that's natural. If you watch older people play who are more experienced, you'll learn. And some kids, would feel resentful of that, but if you're comfortable in your skin, you want.
Yep.
When I graduate, and I used Bella earlier, but when I graduate, I want somebody else to be talking about the one who's coming behind me who's going to fill my shoes. And so I look forward to seeing some of the new players. And again, when you start talking about 8th graders of the talent of some that I've seen already in your program, the future is bright.
Oh, yeah. And I'll go ahead and say, all those girls are solid. But, Chloe Carroll and Brooklyn Thomas, which you all have not seen yet.
Right, I have not.
They're on another level. And
I can't
Ryan
wait.
Souders is real close. I mean, that girl can hit. I mean, every girl is good at some things, but some of them are great. And Ryan Souders is great at hitting.
That's awesome.
She is a big stick, but I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of talk about Chloe Carroll and Brooklyn Thomas as well. The Thomas girl that moved in from Corbin she's a Division I talent.
Well, what do they say? The best thing about an 8th grader, if you're a coach, is they're a freshman next year.
Yes.
Exactly. I've got them 4 more times.
Yes.
As far as in the circle, who are you looking at this year?
Going back to Brooklyn and Jessie Begley.
Okay.
And then we have Kristen Doolin and Bella Ellis. So, last year when we was finished up the season, I was a little nervous, because Bella hasn't got a lot of reps on the mound. Kristen Doolin's still an 8th grader.
Right.
And I thought we're going to have to roll with them and just make it work. But then all of a sudden we've got Brooklyn Thomas coming in, throwing at 62, 63 mile an hour, and extreme talent. And then Jessie Begley moves over, throwing it right at 60 right now.
So you've got a staff, as it turns out.
It's the best pitching staff I've had.
See, I was getting ready to ask you who was going to replace Strunk because, she threw most of the innings last year.
Yes.
And now you've got a handful of, roughly 4, I guess. But
and that was our Achilles last year. Strunk was our workhorse.
Yes.
And she was outstanding. But when you have to ride someone that long, it catches up to you in the end. And at the end of the last season, there's making no excuses, but she was having shoulder problems, but she wasn't going to sit out.
Right.
And she lost a ton of velocity, and we noticed that, and we tried to work with her, giving her days off, and it caught up when she's coming into the dugout and, in tournament time, rubbing her shoulder, and you feel sorry for her, but she's not going to give up. She just kept working. And this year, we probably won't have to deal with that because there'll be a lot of games where we'll go 3 innings Brooklyn, 4 innings Jessie, 4 innings Brooklyn, 3 innings Jessie. We mix it up, and it's going to make – because they're both shortstop and they're both pitchers, so we're just going to switch them in and out, and it makes it pretty easy.
Yeah, I don't think people who don't follow softball, I don't obviously follow it as closely as you do because you live it, but people don't realize that they say it's not hard on an arm because of the delivery. Anytime you work that hard every day under pressure situations, it does have a bit of wear and tear on us. We know that.
Yes.
And again, a competitor is not going to quit. As you said, I'm not going to sit down. And I just see it as a luxury that you have staff. What about, I know y'all like to hit the long ball, because if Bella's going to be in the conversation, I've mentioned her 2 or 3 times already, just because of this. I watched y'all enough last year that she hit a couple balls about as hard as I've seen a high school player hit a softball.
Yes.
Just period. Just hurt the ball.
Yeah.
And she's gotten, I'm sure, stronger than she was.
Well, she's gotten more athletic.
Okay.
She toned up a lot more this year, and last year, she'll tell you, she struggled with the inside pitch. A lot of these good teams figure it out. They throw her inside and cuff her and hit her on the hands. You can't do that this year. We've worked on it. If you throw it inside, she's going to hit it to left field. Her hands are as good as anybody around. And now that, she's able to get to those balls, it's dangerous, really, on the left side if she gets a hold of it. It's just like today we was hitting, and she hits 5 or 6 in a row out. It's just long over the board.
Yep.
And you just turn and watch them. But, this year we've got girls like, Chloe Carroll last year.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't hit any in practices. She hit a few in the games. But this year she's gotten so much stronger and doing the CrossFit and things like that. She's hitting them out in practice. And Jessie Begley's hitting them out in practice. And another one is Holly Barron, which did not play last year. And people don't realize that as good as we were last year, we were without probably our 2nd or 3rd top hitter. And she took 1 swing last year, and that was against North Laurel because we jumped out on them early, and I let her bat 1 time, and she barely got to first because her ankle was still messed up. But she hit one off the right field wall.
Right.
And got a single, and that was her only at bat last year. But she's a terror at the plate. She's one that's not going to strike out, and she hits it as hard as Bella. And she's a big stick for us that we missed last year.
A little confidence this year. I like it. A smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I know, man. I'm serious. If you can't promote your kids, you know something's wrong. But I knew you guys were. I won't put a bullseye on you. I will just say I know you guys were coming back with a whole lot more than some people had been asking me and telling me. If you get ready for the season, how far will you work with the pitching staff before you decide this is kind of how I'm going to? That's going to be who steps up, who's throwing the ball better on a given day, or will you eventually designate a number one?
I think, right now it's 1A and 1B with Brooklyn and Jessie. Brooklyn is a power pitcher. She does a tincture method. It's a little different delivery. Comes out of her hands a little different. She's got a lot of spin on it. Can throw it by you. I mean, she can come out of the box and throw it by you. Jessie, on the other hand, she's a few more mile an hour slower, but she's still throwing at 59 and 60 on her radar. So she's increased speed from last year, but she can throw it to wherever you want it. She can hit her spot. She can throw the changeup. She has worked on it religiously. She goes to lessons every week. And she's going to be an extremely valuable leader that is going to be a big benefit to us.
You talk about throwing the changeup. I laugh every time that I watch softball played at a high level, and I consider your all's team to be at a high level. When I watch it played and I see the same delivery, the same motion, and at about 62 or 3, whatever it is, and that translates to almost 90, I think, if you're playing baseball or a little above, in that neighborhood anyway. And then they pull the string on one. I can say without a doubt I would have laid the bat down and said, I'm done. If you can do that to me, I'm done. And I love to watch the pitchers who, like you said, can pull the string, cause somebody to overswing. But the effort that goes into pitching, there's a defense or there's an attack for that.
Oh yeah.
That's all the bunting and things. I don't know. Again, Ken will be here after you. I'll ask him this. I'm not sure the coach in baseball or the manager in baseball has to make nearly as many decisions in a regular game as you do, because of the fact that there are so many positional or plays that happen that you have to be prepared for because of all the bunting and hit and run and everything that goes on.
Yeah, there's a ton more small ball in softball, and we work on it a lot right now because some of the teams that we play, we have to, or you just get embarrassed.
Right.
I mean, because one bunt will turn into 4 bunts.
Yep.
Because if they see you can't make it, then they're going to bunt you every single time. And when you play teams like Louisville Male and teams like that, then they're going to expose your weakness. So you really can't be weak anywhere on the field when you're playing those teams, and that's the reason that we do play them, to find our weaknesses and know what to work on when we get back in our area.
Let's take a look at your schedule. We got a couple minutes left. You've got it. I'll just let you talk off of that. Anything on there jump out at you that you'd want to promo or tell us about?
Well, we start off with Whitley. We go to Whitley. We don't have near as many home games this year. I think we've got 12 or 13.
Out of 30 plus?
I've got about 40 games scheduled.
40, okay.
I don't think they're all on
No,
here.
they're not. Here's the end of it, I think, Coach.
Okay. Well, I have gotten we've got the South Odoms, Greene County, we've got Scott County, Woodford County, Louisville Male, Madison Southern, Madison Central. We play Estill County, which is supposed to have a really good pitcher in Emma Winkle. That's why we was wanting to play them. We play them over at Somerset. We got Lexington Catholic, North Laurel, Tates Creek. We play Ryle, and then we go to Florida and we play St. Joseph, New Jersey, St. Mary's, New York, and Sagertown, Pennsylvania. So I told them when we go to Florida, they say what group, what class do you want to play in? I said just play us your best because I
Right.
really don't care if we go down and get beat 5 times. I really don't.
But you don't want to go down there and play Lincoln County
don't
and
wanna play-
schools you could drive 30 minutes and
yes,
play.
and I don't want to play anybody that we're going to wear out.
Exactly.
So all 3 of these teams have been state champions in their states within the last 4 years. So they're supposed to be very good. So we may have our hands full there, but
They're getting ready to wrap me and you up. Anybody you want to thank? Anybody, your coaching staff, or anything before we
yes, we do.
put a lid on this?
We do. We've got some new coaches. Will Carroll, Luke Elmore is still with us, but we got Bethany Gover, big help, softball minded, and then we got Julianne Tilley. She moved in and she works at the high school and she played her ball at Walt Verona, and she was an All-State. So I got 2 All-State female assistant coaches, which you can't find that around on most teams, and they have been a huge help. They relate to the girls well, and I couldn't ask for a better staff.
You and I could talk softball for a long time, but they're telling me that we're going to wrap this up. I'm going to wish you all the best. We'll see you very soon. Look forward to seeing you guys play this year.
Yep, have to get out and watch.
Coach Brad Gover, thank you.
All right, appreciate it.
Brad Gover, head man with the Pulaski County Lady Maroons, getting ready for their season. I think he said, open up Monday for real. The couple scrimmages this weekend. Thank you, Coach. Kent Mayfield's going to step in, head baseball coach at Pulaski County High School. We're gonna drag him to the podium. You are listening or watching our look at baseball and softball with all of our local coaches, and Kent Mayfield is climbing aboard. He's brought books with him. I don't read much, Kent, so I watch a lot of TV. Kent Mayfield, I go back, and we'll let you get a headset on and say something so they'll know we've got sound. Ease that thing up towards your chin a little bit there. Thank you. See what you got. Can you hear him? We're good. Let's talk. I know you back from 100 years ago, but I love to talk baseball with you, and they'll be throwing fingers up and waving at us that we're done here, just as soon as we get started. But
I'm sure.
How are you, man?
Doing well.
You look good.
Well, thank you.
Field looks great, by the way. I drove by the renovations. I haven't seen the lights yet, but I hear.
Yeah, we're extremely excited. We a lot of people don't know we were condemned actually out of our locker room and the grandstand area from last year. It wasn't a planned renovation, but we got in a situation where we had to do something, and I just want to take this opportunity to thank the administration at Pulaski County High School, and then Mr. Richardson and Mr. Cook for really stepping up for these kids, and we got a nice facility now. We were just in the locker room for the first time actually before we broke up after practice.
First game we do, I want a tour.
You got it.
I have 5 minutes of your valuable time. I want to, because I am so glad that I know the exterior. I've seen that, the seating and everything, and it looks great. But
Right.
I'm glad you guys have got somewhere that is safe to begin with. But
Right.
all right, let's step back last year before we can jump into this year and have some fun. 26-10 last year, I think, is what I remember. Runner up in the 47th. No.
Champions,
No, champions of the 47. Yeah, I was there. I mean, I did the game. You also that was at a cold day in Casey County when you beat Somerset, and 22-14. Does that sound better?
Yeah.
I apologize. I forgot to flip the switch. Ended up losing to Danville in the region, and Danville ended up beating Somerset in the finals, and Danville went on to represent the 12th region in the state tournament. I don't know, last year I asked this question. It's not fair to ask, but I've asked it of the other coaches. When you first sat down before the season last year, was that a 22-win, win the district tournament baseball team in your eyes preseason?
Well, it never is. I told the guys before we came over here today, I said, we're getting ready to start our season tomorrow, and I don't feel like we're ready. But if we practiced another month, I still wouldn't feel that way. I love practice. I love watching them develop. Practice is kind of my thing. And so when we started the year last year, I knew we had a long way to go, but I did see some potential We were extremely young. We're coming off COVID, so a lot of guys hadn't played varsity baseball at all. But we had real good leadership, and the biggest thing was the guys bought into what I was saying, what our coaching staff was saying, and they worked hard, and we just continued to get better. So to answer the question, I would have to say no.
Expectation-wise, this team's got a lot of expectations on their back, though, is where I was going with that. You got a lot of kids back.
We do.
Played a key role in winning that district and putting 22 wins on the board. You got a lot of guys back.
We do have a lot of guys back. But, again, we do have a long way to go. We've had to move some guys around. The basketball guys have just been out for a little while. We got some guys injured. Some adversity right off the bat, but we're ready. But we do have a little bit more experience this year, obviously.
Well, I remember last year, the district over at Case County. I was not joking, guys. It was cold, and you got a pitching performance in the championship game that I just kept shaking my head. I said, "There's a kid out there just doing what he's doing." And a couple plays. Brady Kane comes to mind, made a catch in the outfield that was kind of off the chart. Some guy just fired a chopper up outside. So you'll have to compete with the motorcycles for a minute. It's not Daytona, I don't think. But anyway, I remember that ball game and just sitting back and looking at Gomer and some of your assistant coaches and your face and everything. And you all were, I don't think surprised was on anybody's face. It was kind of like, we came over to win a ball game.
Right, we did. We keep that mindset. We think we can play, and we know we can play with anybody on our schedule. Doesn't mean we're going to win them all, but our goal is to make the other team beat us. We're not going to beat ourselves, and we feel strongly in that. And
let's talk about kids. Let's get some names out there because they don't want to hear me reminisce about. But again, I will start with Bryson Duggar because that's who I referenced a moment ago, pitched in that championship game, and. You've got him back, and I don't know what sport he doesn't play, but the word competitor comes to mind anytime I see him on any athletic field.
Right, and we knew when we called his name to throw in that championship game that he was going to, number one, give us all he's got because he is.
And he wasn't your number one, right?
Not coming in.
No, he was.
But he developed to be, 1 and 1A, and he does. He has that competitive desire, and he's one that is injured right now.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, he hurt his wrist in Casey County playing basketball, and it's hard today. He was out taking ground balls. You got to pull it stinks as a coach to kind of pull the strings back, but we got to get him better. But he will not be ready for it in the short term.
Okay.
I don't have a date when he'll be back. Hopefully soon, but we got to be patient with him. And I guess what we can do, if you don't mind, is I'll just start with positions.
Please.
Right. Infielders, we'll just talk about infielders. We do return Hargis. He was our shortstop last year. Just kept getting better all year. He's got incredible hands, and he has really good instincts. A lot of things you can't teach. He just is able to do that. We also return Chance Todd, who's a great infielder. He played third for us last year. He can play second. He can play short. We all know he can pitch. So that's great. Mark Livesey's back. He played first for us last year. Great defensive first baseman. He's a back control guy. Really excited about that jump in his game offensively this year. Dallas Davis, one of our seniors, he's back. He's a corner guy, middle of the lineup type guy, one of our leaders. We're excited to have him back. Jacob Todd's back. He's a corner guy. He also can catch for us. He's a guy that you can play anywhere. He's a good pitcher as well. I don't know if that's
I don't know. That's Gover's softball bunch, I think. I thought it was your guys for a minute, but
I thought we had Jacob Todd.
I have no idea. Jacob's got his own entourage here.
Right.
He'll be glad to know that, by the way, when he watches this.
Yeah, it'll be great. We also returned Will Blankenship. He a lot of these names you're going to recognize from basketball.
Sure.
But he's a middle infielder. He's worked a lot on his hitting and has come a long way. Blake Minyard, he's an 8th grader, but you wouldn't know it to look at him. He's extremely strong. He's extremely talented. Has a really good approach at the plate. And we're excited to have him. He too can play. He can play third, he can play second, and he could play short if we needed him to. Another new guy is Carter Ross. He's a pitcher, primarily catcher, and he can also play second and short. Just a tremendous addition to our team. We're excited about his future. Trey Hornsby's back. Trey is a corner guy. Has a great arm. He has just those instincts that I was talking about before. He can play third, and then I could say, Trey, you care to play first? And, he's ready to go. He can catch, and, of course, he's one of our better pitchers.
Yes.
And he's another one that can kind of flip a switch and just become an unbelievable competitor, and I love watching him play. Mark News, he's a sophomore. He didn't play last year. He's come out. He's a corner guy. We're enjoying Mark and watching him grow and get better. And then Wesson Phelan, just a tremendous athlete. He can play the middle. He can play short. He can play second. He can play third. He could play the outfield if we needed him to, and he also pitches. And then you mentioned Bryson Duggar already. He can play anywhere. Really, he could play anywhere. We're not going to catch him. Other than that, he may play anywhere else. And I think that's rounds out our infield. In the outfield, of course, you mentioned Brady Kane. Brady Kane's an unbelievable catcher, too.
I know, yes.
He's going to catch a lot for us this year. We're going to try to throw Mason a little bit more as a pitcher. So Brady will be back there catching, and, of course, Carter and JT, Jacob Todd, can catch also. Owen Alexander, he's our center fielder, tremendous outfielder. He gets overlooked sometimes because of his size, but he has a great arm. He gets as good a jump as anybody in our region on fly balls and plays a great center field. He can hit at the top of our lineup. Leadoff type guy, 6-hole, maybe 9-hole, just gives us a lot of options. Jace Fry's back. Tremendous athlete, can absolutely fly. He can play any of the outfield spots. He could play third, and he also pitches. We're excited about him and his growth as a player. Connor Denny. Connor's been playing great in the outfield defensively. He's come a long way offensively with his bat. But we're excited about him and the ability for him to come in and really help us defensively late in games if we should need it. Mason Singleton's another senior. He hasn't played. He came out, and I had to, I don't teach at the high school, so if guys come out and I haven't met them, obviously, I didn't know who he was.
Right.
So we have a lot of guys who come out, and normally you have that conversation with them and thank them for coming out and, wish them luck, especially
yes.
if they've haven't played high school and they're a senior.
Certainly.
But Mason has skills. He can fly. He's got a good arm. He's coming every day. He gets better offensively. He just hasn't played. So we're looking forward to see how he matures as a player and comes on. But he can help us. Braden Hampton, some of the guys call him a PO, but he has a really good swing. He's hitting balls out left and right, and he is a very talented pitcher. But he can play outfield. He can play first as well. West Hammocks, primarily an outfielder. He can play left. He can play right. He's worked hard, and he has came a long way. We're really proud of how far West has came. And then, we got Measle. He's a pitcher. Outfielder, and probably to this point he's improved offensively as much as anybody. He's grown, got a little stronger, and we're excited about him. as well. Owen Stevens, he's a sophomore, didn't play last year. He's an outfielder. He throws right-handed, hits left-handed. I coached his dad, his uncle, and every time I see him, I see his dad and his eyes and his face. So that just shows my age, I guess. But
well, wait, it gets worse.
but he's been fun to coach, and he's getting better every day, which again is all you can ask. And then I think I mentioned the catchers kind of as I was going through, but Mason Acton, he's an unbelievable catcher defensively, and the thing is he has room to grow. He works hard. He's very intelligent, very mature for his age. I could see him growing into one of our leaders. He understands the game. He's a very talented hitter. He has a very, very good future. And then Brady and Carter, they're both very talented catchers. And I told them the other day we were working some drills, and I was having to make them throw the bases. And I'm like, you three are talented enough to where I should be telling you to stop throwing.
Yes.
You can find us outs, be aggressive. The Lord blessed you with great arms and great instincts. Have fun, let's do it. And they started throwing the bases in, but very talented group of catchers. And you add Jacob Todd to the mix, who's also, he's a varsity level catcher.
Right. What a luxury, though. A handful of catchers at the varsity level.
Yeah.
That means a foul ball off a knuckle when a guy's hand's sore for a couple of days. You don't have to put a sore-handed catcher out there and worry about.
Right, and it gives us the ability, every one of those guys are talented pitchers, all of them.
Sure. And
that gives us the luxury of using them when we want to, because we know that we have catchers who can catch.
Right.
You don't want to throw a guy and extend a guy and make him catch the next day. Well, we don't have to do that now. I've coached a while, and I've had a lot of catchers cold drawn.
Yeah.
We had to pick and choose when he pitched.
Yes.
Just because we wanted him, to take care of his arm when he caught. So we're excited about it. And they are too, apparently.
I don't know. Did you mention Todd again? Is that what did this?
I guess so.
Maybe that's what caused the outroar. I'm not sure. All right. Is that everybody on the list?
I think so.
Let's do this. Let's thank our coaching staff.
Absolutely.
It's hard to do this without it, and we're going to wind up they won't let me keep going. They've got some sort of deal that they want everybody to get a talk tonight.
Well,
I don't know.
weird.
That is that's rude, isn't it, almost?
It is. Coaches, they have to put up with me and my temperament. Kellen Jones is our pitching coach. He's been in the program for a long, long time.
And glad that he is well.
Yes.
Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that is absolutely okay. He's probably been in the program since his 8th grade year as a player and a coach. And
he was coaching then too, as an 8th grade. When you talked to him, he talked baseball. I mean,
he's a student of the game. Always have been. Always will be. Jacob Denny also. He played for us.
Laid back, not hard nosed or anything. Not Gomer. Can't get him to come out of his shell. No, okay.
He compliments me. He helps me out in that area. And then Tanner Bell, he's incredible. The guys, he has great rapport with the guys. He helps our outfielders and our hitters. Just a great addition to our staff. Brian Minyard, who's he works with the strength and conditioning, which has been huge for us. He also helps hitters. He's just he'll coach whatever he needs to do. But he's got a stronger. The guys really bought in the weight room, showed a lot of improvement because of him and his program. And then Josh Anderson comes out when he can. The guys love him, and we love it when he's there, and he comes when he can. And, of course, we all know what he can offer.
He knows a little baseball.
Yeah, he's played. And
I heard he played.
Yeah.
I don't.
Coached him.
You've got a staff that I absolutely love. I mean, I know most of those guys personally, not all of them, but most of them. And I have fun talking baseball behind your back with your staff.
Right, I'm sure.
Not about you, about baseball, just to be around. Coach, they're giving me that we're going to get out of here and assemble.
Okay.
We can ignore them if you want to.
Hey,
They yelled while
I'm-
you were talking, so
I'm
I mean,
game.
it's the least they could do.
Sounds good to me.
Kent Mayfield, best of luck this year. Look forward to seeing you guys. I think the Southwestern game you have is March the 29th. Probably the first broadcast we'll have of your all's games will be the Southwestern game. I look forward to it. Best of luck, and see you down the road when it's a little warmer.
That sounds good, and thank you all for doing this.
I appreciate it, man.
It means a lot to our fans, our parents, and just all of our stakeholders. Thank you.
Best of luck to you and the Maroons this year.
Thank you.
See you on the field soon.
Sounds good.
All right, man. That's Kent Mayfield, one of the good guys in this game. Again, the head man at Pulaski County Baseball. And you are watching our baseball coaches show here from Buffalo Wings and Rings, LakeCumberlandSports.com. And next in will be Somerset Christian School's head coach Alan Fisher is going to step in. And we'll get ready for him, get him strapped aboard. Coach Fisher, how are you, sir? I'll get you to put that headset on. I think I've met Coach Fisher. I'm going to introduce myself when you get a seat. Mike Kerr, Coach.
Alan Fisher.
Good to see you. Kevin Lloyd speaks well of you, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but glad to have you.
Thankful for the opportunity. Thank you, guys.
We are going to talk a little softball if whoever's laying eggs over there will quit.
It's definitely a little bit loud.
Well, again, we got to get used to being loud. It's baseball, though. We're outdoors. It is loud. Coach, first year for the second year. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Y'all played 10 games. I looked at that. I don't know where it came from. I saw a 10-game schedule last year. And this year you've expanded it to, 25 or so?
Yeah, I think we got a few more added on. We're right about 27, 28.
27 or 28, so a full schedule.
Yes, sir.
I'm assuming not this year, next year or the next to come into the district. Is that how it will work?
Next season.
Next season you'll be part of the 48 then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm just trying to do homework that I should know, but again, since we haven't spoken, I'm trying to play catch-up here just a little bit.
Yeah, we just out 2 years for coming into KHSAA. So last year, then this year.
Right.
Now, we are allowed to play in the All-A this year. And then there's also KHSAA put a new thing in called KCAC, and it's a tournament for all the Christian schools. And it's up in E-Town, so we'll play in it
Excellent.
as well.
All right, I noticed last year the numbers are up from last year.
Yeah.
Which is, I know, in a school the size of Somerset Christian, that's a concern. Can you get enough kids interested to get them out? I also noticed that several of the young ladies who played prominent roles last year on your team are back.
Yes, yep.
And that's got to be a good thing.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, we got several coming back. Of course, Lee Edens is our senior, and, man, she's a great softball player. She can play everywhere. Over the years, she's played shortstop, center field, all over the place. So she's going to play center field for us this year. And then Kristen Edwards is our junior. It's a junior, and she'll come back and catching for us and does a good job. Got a pair of sophomores. Emily Estep's going to play out some outfield, a lot of outfield for us. And then Lydia Fisher, we're going to put her a little bit everywhere. She's played some third. She's played some short. But she's over 6 foot tall, so we're probably going to stick her at first as much as possible.
Absolutely.
She had to pitch a lot last year and wasn't ready, for that. But she's improved as well, and so we're going to pitch her some, and play her at first base some as well.
The experience last year, again, I know short season, 10 games, and players who had not played at the high school level. Now you've got enough veterans, let's call them, enough experience on that staff. But I noticed you filled it out, and you've only got a couple of upperclassmen. So
yeah, we have 9 eighth graders.
I thought I saw that it was. I didn't count them, but I knew there was a wad of eighth graders.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
That is a good thing. We got 9 eighth graders, 2 seventh graders, and both seventh graders will start. Our seventh grader will probably be our one of our leading pitchers. Our seventh grader and eighth grader will be our 2 pitchers going forward.
All right, let's put names with those people.
Seventh grader is Reagan Childers, and so she's played a lot of softball. I know she's young, but she's played a lot of softball. Her mom, Tara, is going to be assistant coach with us. Caroline Mouse is the other seventh grader. She'll play some infield for us. And then our other eighth grade pitcher will be Abby White Scarborough. She was on our team last year but didn't really pitch, but she's just put the work in. She's went Richmond probably once or twice a week just the entire off season to be ready to pitch. And so she'll be big for us. So we have, I think we only have 6 high school students and 11 eighth grade and down. So we keep this group together. We're pretty excited about going forward. We do have 8 It is a challenge. We have 8 brand new players that are pretty experienced in
Right.
softball, but I'll take them. There's some very athletic girls in that group, and so it gives us something to work with. And they've been working hard, and so we're excited about that.
You have to get the numbers, then you have to get the experience.
Right.
And it sounds to me like the numbers are up and the experience is coming. Got to have a coaching staff. So you just mentioned.
Switched over. He's coaching
Yes.
the baseball team. And so Terry Childers works at the school. He's been an assistant coach, played a ton of softball, coaches a lot of softball. She'll be great. And then we got a new coach named Sam Kittick. Her husband took the music position there at the school.
Okay.
But she also played 4 years of college softball at UK, and also coached last season at Summit High School in Nashville. They were ranked top 5 in the state of Tennessee.
That does not hurt to have a former UK softball player and someone with the pedigree, because again,
Yep.
there is a look at that. That's a future that I might have that I can aspire to.
Very much
I'm
so.
glad to hear that.
So she's got some connections with Coach Lawson, and so we're going to go to some practices and
Excellent.
things like that. And so obviously tons of knowledge about softball, tons of drills. For me, it comes in handy,
Yeah, I'm sure.
because softball is so much repetition. There's only so many ways you can feel the grounder.
Exactly.
And make that difference. So she's got tons of drills, super energetic. The girls love her, so we're very, very blessed. So I'm excited. So I told her, I said, listen, I'll kind of take the new players and kind of get them fundamentally where they need to go. And so she's kind of focusing on our returning players and to be around our assistant coaches. They have a lot of softball knowledge.
You open up tomorrow with Williamsburg
Friday night at Williamsburg. And
on the
then,
road.
yes,
Friday
sir.
night,
Yes,
excuse
sir.
me.
No, you're fine. And then Monday night we're home for Danville. It'll be our first home game.
I'm not sure when our first game over there may be. I know Coach Summer was talking about, he and you were talking about the Southwestern game, and he didn't know for sure exactly the time of it. We try to cover the local schools when we play each other. That may be the first chance we get to see you guys live.
Yeah, we're going to try to make that work. April 1st is what we're shooting for. And I got to give him a shout out, man. He's a friend of mine. We go to church together, but he's just been a huge blessing to us, man. He helps me all the time. I call and ask him all these questions and stuff. So he's been a big help to the program. And
Some people who don't know Jared, he's a big gruff guy sometimes, and he gets a reputation for lack of a handle, a title, whatever. Guys, he's a teddy bear. I'm telling you, he's one of the best guys out there. I love him to death, but he will tell you what he thinks sometimes, and that's okay too.
I like that.
Some of us will do the same.
Yeah, but I'll call him and say, hey, what do you use for this? Hey, how'd you run this? What do I need to go to sign up for this? Because he's been KHSAA coach for years, and so a resource for me. And like there's some softball supplies right now in the shortage that we're in that I can't get, and so I'm like, hey man, can you help me out? And so he'll help me out, then I'll replenish. And so yeah, he's been a big blessing to us, friend of the program for sure.
I think I can speak for him and the other coach. I've been around a long time. You can tell by the color of my hair. I know most of all these coaches pretty well. Everybody that I talk to wants to see you guys succeed. They want to see Somerset Christian in all sports to field teams and have numbers and compete. And I just, I see it as they're looking at you all and saying, I could be a part of maybe growing a little bit in that program, and them, someday from now come up and kicking my backside and then smiling and saying thank you for letting us get to this point. And I know Coach Stickley very well, and I know he's retired, but I know the effort that goes into trying to build a team. And when you don't win many games, sometimes you have to have kids that are a lot stronger than people give them credit for.
And they got to see the big picture.
Yes, they do. They have to buy into the bigger one.
Now in the Christian School League, we were very competitive
Yes.
and had last several years had won a lot of games.
Yes.
So then it was like starting over, almost starting over. High school I think right now has 85 students.
85.
So we're pulling. So we're at some disadvantages there. Working hard to get the facilities up. They painted dugouts, put gutters. We've done a lot of work on the field. So the Lord's been good to us as far as that goes, man. We have I don't think we're not missing anything. We're not short anything. We just need some experience
and players.
Yep. So we're thankful. We're up to 17 this year. Had a new player come out this week. Super athletic. She'll be good. And so we're excited about that. So like I said, we're young. But the good thing is that we're going to put the foundation in and see where we're going to go going forward. And so we got good assistant coaches. The ADs are awesome. Of course, Mel. has been a huge blessing, and I always tell her she's like the godfather of the school. She knows a little bit of everything, but we love Al. I think Al Gover is going to be a big blessing to us. Then we got Mrs. Cindy White Scarborough. Man, they're not on the quote unquote coaching staff, but he puts as much effort in that field and program as anybody. So they've been a huge blessing to me. And then again, I really think I think Oak Hill Baptist Church let me invest in students, and leave, go to practice, go to games, and they're like, hey, you're with students, and that's what we're passionate about. So have at it. So I'm thankful for that opportunity.
We're thankful for you guys to be taking advantage of that opportunity, because there is they're private schools or Christian schools or non-public. I don't know what term we should use and all of this stuff, because they are different, some of them. Mm-hmm. But again, it is a choice that a lot of parents make for their children, and I support that 100%. But should they not have the luxury or the abilities to compete at the level in intercollegiate or inter-high school scholastic sports? And my answer is no. If they can get enough kids and they can field a team, Somerset High School fielded a football team for 113 years before they won a state championship.
Right.
I just throw that out there for reference.
Right.
Everybody doesn't start winning games. I remember some programs around there started playing JV schedule. Yep. Next thing you find out, they're taking their lumps, and they're like you said, but our numbers are growing and we're getting more experienced and we're coming to play at whatever level, and that's what you have to do.
And I think playing KHSAA has helped us legitimize the athletic program at the school,
And beating a couple of them in basketball didn't hurt you at all.
Right, and then, hey, my daughter plays volleyball.
Okay. You guys.
They had a great season, won the All-A. So they're right there. And so we're going to kind of model that and come after them. So I think we just want to be, I love the school. My girls go there. My wife teaches there.
Sure.
But now my son went and played football at Southwestern as well. So we're not anti anybody, But for me, as a parent, I wanted my girls to have that Christian education. I want them to have chapel. I want them to have Bible as a class. I want to have some of those things. And so we want to provide those students with everything that's offered. They have STEM lab, AP classes, dual credit classes, everything that we don't want them to have any disadvantages for pursuing a Christian education.
I couldn't have said, I know I couldn't have said it any better, but I know Dusty and Melissa Phelps and the boys have been out to know them very well. He was our former youth pastor for a while, and I see it as an opportunity and I love to see when, like Coach, coaches will reach out to you and say, can we help, or can we move a game, or can I, and I don't mean this in any way disrespectful, can I not throw my number one against you yet?
I'm fine with that.
Are you good with the fact that I'm not disrespecting you in any way? I want to make sure you understand what I'm doing, that kind of stuff.
Exactly, because we're not going to be in that spot forever.
Not yet. No, you're not.
And there's teams that we play sometimes that I'm like, I promise I'll never do that to you, because I know what it feels like.
Exactly. I'll give you a good example. Coach Judy Mason, who coached at Somerset High School in basketball, she's at Danville now. Mm-hmm. I had daughters back when Judy coached, and I coached some AAU ball for her. She got beat the first year she was here by a local school in town by about 50.
Wow.
And the parents were going native. They were freaked out. And her comment was, if we don't want to get beat 50, we need to get better.
True.
What a comment.
Yeah.
In other words, hey, I can't help the fact that guy's got a team that good. I'll just live with it. But lasted long enough to see the worm turn and beat that guy about 30 one night. So you got to have time. You guys got to have patience, and I know your administration will have that with you. And if we can support it in any way, I know we will.
Well, thank you guys very much. We're thankful for the opportunity to be here on the radio. We're thankful you guys came to a couple of games last year. And the girls love it, man. They think, they're on ESPN Sports Center. They're getting ready to go. We're ready to go. And so can I just run through?
Sure, I want you to, please.
Yeah. Oh, I just brought a roster. I mean,
go through all of them and don't miss one.
I can't miss it. That's exactly right. We can't miss any. But our team starts off with Aaliyah Edens, man. She's a great athlete. I personally believe she can play collegiately if she desires. Super fast. Like I said, she plays short, can play center. Just a good athlete. Leah Keith just came out this last week, senior. It's like, hey, listen, my last chance to play, let's play. Again, Edwards, our catcher, Estep Fisher, our sophomores. Mia Dobberton came out last year, first-year player, started in left field and was hitting the ball. I think she hit over 300 the last month of the season, so she's back. And then we got 9 8th graders. And so some of those girls are experienced, some of them are new. But Addie Dow's her first year out. I think she's looking at second. Michaela Jackson's another girl. She's probably 6 foot tall. Grace Kittick is coach's daughter. And we have 3 or 4 of these girls are just really fast. So once we get them trained and get them on base, we're going to be in good shape. But Grace Kittick's like that. Destiny Napier's like that. Briley Rubel and Elizabeth Scott busy. She just kind of came out literally this week.
We've got plenty of time, so talk as much as you want to about it.
Super athlete, man. Plays volleyball, other sports. And so I say all the girls, hey, listen, you guys need to go get busy to play. And so then her dad's coaching baseball. So, hey, your family's at the ballpark every night.
Right.
So you might as well just come on and play. And so she came out this week, natural, man. Makes it throw from third to first look effortless. And so I'm like, hey, there you go. We found your sport. And then Jolie Woods has played a lot of softball over the years. Logan Starnes, her uncle. I was just talking to Logan in there. And so she's played a lot of softball.
Pretty good pedigree right there.
Yeah, so she'll start day one for us on the infield. And then we got our 7th graders, Reagan and Caroline, who both played every JV game last year, but we just couldn't play them any varsity. So even though they're 7th graders, they played, a ton of games for us last year. And so it's just we're sharing athletes. That's one thing about a small school is that, we got to share athletes. So we tried to get our schedule done September, October, because we got 3 starters that are playing middle school volleyball right now. And so that's part of playing sports at Somerset Christian is all athletes. Most of our girls play more than one. And so we just have to work like that to make it happen.
Yeah, I went to Somerset High School, and, of course, Somerset is considerably larger than Somerset Christian.
Yeah, I think my graduating class at Somerset was 140.
140.
Yeah, and that was a big class.
We got out in 73, and I think we were at 175, and I think that's the largest class they ever graduated.
I believe so.
It had dropped back down over time. And I know what it's like to have one coach not want to let his other kids play sports, and the only thing I can say is Deion Sanders played 4 sports when he was at Florida State, and he turned out all right as an athlete. So
it worked out for him.
It's going to work out for him. It might work out for your kids too. So.
Well, I'm a football fanatic, so I follow UK
sure,
football.
Sure.
But 75% of the athletes they signed played multiple sports.
I read something one day that of the NFL draft, and, that includes linemen and some big guys that might not have played some other sports, just strictly. The NFL draft, they had a number of guys who had played 4 sports, 3 sports, and 2 sports in high school other than football.
Right.
And the numbers were staggering, the percentages of how many played multiple sports.
And plus there's we got the rest of our lives to work.
Absolutely. There's the joy of the game.
Yeah, I think my senior year, my daughter's senior year, she played 4 sports at Somerset Christian. I'm like, as long as your grades are good, play them all, because you got the rest of your life to go to school. As long as your grades are good, have fun.
When you come home and tell me you don't want to go, we've got issues, but you join the team, you're going to stay with it.
Exactly right.
And the other thing is when the grades suffer, we're all done.
Yeah, you're right.
We'll fix the grades before we fix anything else.
You're exactly right.
Kind of worked out. I've got the 3 daughters, and they're all professionals, so
hey, there you go.
I think it kind of worked out. They had a good mother.
There you go.
They have a good mother. Let's say it that way.
My daughter just passed her NCLEX last, 2 weeks ago, so she's an OR nurse, so she did fine. Worked out all right.
Yes, it did, and I'm glad to hear that. Okay, on the schedule, I looked down through here, and you don't have on the schedule that I have, but you said you had added a handful of games. Other than St. Patrick, these are all public schools, right?
Oh, yeah. We're not, and St. Patrick's is public school, too. We're playing in a tournament at Paris.
Okay.
And that's who they seeded us with.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I know last year and this year we have the option to play Christian school teams, the league that we came out of.
Mm-hmm.
And we just opted not to do that. We just said, you know what, man, this is where we're at.
It's where we're going.
Exactly right. So it's going to be harder. It's a step up in competition, but it's where we're at, and it's where we're headed. So might as well go ahead and get started.
I wish I had eligibility left. I'd like to play for you, Coach.
Well, come on.
I like the enthusiasm. I like the smile. The girls are blessed to have someone who's going to take the game. And again, I'm happy to hear that your coaching staff has had some people with the highest of level of experience to come into it too. That's a blessing.
So I told them, I said, listen, all the girls that played before, hey, you take them. We have 8 girls that never played a game. Next Friday night will be their first game ever. 8.
That's wild.
Yeah, so
That is.
that'll be the JV game. So I'm like, hey, I'll take these girls. We'll teach them fundamentals. You guys help them step up because, we're struggling with practice. I was like, hey, I've got these girls. We're talking basics, and then you got 9 or 10 that are competitive. And hey, listen, we're And so it helps us having those ladies, our assistant coaches, gives us a chance to separate the kids and get a lot more work done.
And having 17, you can get a little bit of that mentoring going on too, because I've been around a few baseball and softball practices in my life. There's a lot of time going on that you're standing in a line in a drill or something, and if somebody's there to kind of tell you what they see, and that's part of the game. You learn from those that have been there.
Well, you have an open invitation.
I appreciate it.
So come on.
We're going to go ahead and meet your counterpart here in a minute. But my first impression, Coach Alan Fisher, best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
We will see you in a field somewhere soon, and God bless you, man.
God bless you. Looking forward to it.
Good to see you. Thank you. Alan Fisher, head coach of the Somerset Christian Lady Cougars. And we look forward to seeing him soon. And you are listening and watching the Lake Cumberland Sports Look at Coach's Baseball and Softball Show from Buffalo Wings and Rings. We're trying to get organized here. I'm getting ready to meet Coach. Grab a headset. Appreciate you. I apologize for this, but Anthony Edens, Mike Kerr, we're going to meet maybe for the first time, sir.
Believe it or not, we've actually met. I worked at Clear Channel Radio back in
Oh, yes.
06.
Well, all of us, it's kind of like McDonald's. I think we all had a trip through there before. I hope your ending with them was better than mine. They just told me they didn't need my services anymore. No, it's good to see you, Coach.
You too.
Welcome.
Well, thank you.
Lake Cumberland Sports is glad to have you guys. This is going to be the opening season for the Cougars. Is that right, or did you all play last year?
The 2020 season would have been my son's senior year.
Yes.
And we were preseason, pretty good preseason, ready to go. The day of our first game, COVID hit.
Yeah.
Did not have a season, so we missed that. That team was stacked with mostly seniors. I say stacked, but it was primarily made up of seniors. So the next year there wasn't enough students to even field a team, so there was no season last year. But this year, I actually got kind of asked to come and teach chemistry at the Christian school.
Okay.
And since I was on the grounds there every day, I was able to start recruiting students, and we actually got enough kids together and have a season now. And a lot of them are joining pretty late. Most of them not even having baseball experience. Those that did hadn't played in the last couple seasons. So we've had to really make up some ground there quick. I'm very pleased so far. We've played 2 games, and I thought we were somewhat competitive and probably exceeded my expectations for knowing what I had to work with. And the kids are just really enthusiastic and putting in the work.
To start at ground zero, basically.
Yeah.
With limited numbers, an excitement level, I'm sure, of getting to play, but you guys have jumped into the deep water.
Yeah.
You're going to play a full schedule this year.
Yep.
I was just earlier talking with Mr. Fisher, who I just met for the first time. It is a special coaching opportunity that you have, because you have inherited something that few coaches would want or ever do. That's a program in its infancy.
Yes.
A program with limited kids, and some, like you said, good kids, good athletes probably. Haven't played in a while, so all of a sudden you're in the deep water, but you got some kids that are learning to swim too as we go, if that's a heck of an analogy, I guess, but if that makes sense.
It definitely makes sense. And you do identify which kids have kind of the it factor, when the pressure's on, you can see we've already got some kids that are leaning into taking the pitch, getting hit, throwing the bat and running down to first base. You love to see that kind of thing.
Yes.
Being aggressive on the base paths, getting thrown out a couple times. But
it happens.
Just, for example, we did a scrimmage with Casey County last week. The outfield was abysmal. I mean, not tracking balls, coming in on a fly, the ball going 30 feet over their head. We worked heavily on that the next couple practices. Last night we had 1 error in the outfield, and that was somebody who wasn't typically in the outfield, so that was more on me. But just improvement game over game, like I said, and just identifying which kids, their gifts, that they have, where they should be, and putting them in a position so they can succeed. Very pleased. And with being in their infancy, this program, the low expectations. So I like that part especially.
You didn't bring any notes with you. Do you have all the kids' names in your head, or do you want me to give you what's on the website?
I appreciate that.
We want to make sure we get all the kids' names and mentioned. And so if you want to start in the pitching mound, you want to start in the infield, you want to start with the seniors, you want to start with these guys that just came in, we'll say hi to them.
Okay, this is all 3 of my seniors right here.
Hey, guys. They're going to talk to them on live over there. But
okay.
Good to see you guys.
Yes.
He's going to talk good about you right now.
Okay, so the one over here, Luke Atwood, number 6, he is one of the ones who had a lot of baseball experience in his younger years. Kind of got out of it after, I believe, probably Little League. I think he played 1 year of middle school. Hadn't played in several seasons, but he's a natural. He's got, when you watch him on the field, all of his movements look crisp. They look smooth. You can tell he's been well coached. And he was one that I really wanted to get on the roster. He wouldn't commit because he had already played a full season of soccer, a full season of basketball.
Yes.
And he's like, Coach, I'm kind of thinking about getting a job. And I was like, man, just pray about it. That's one of the things I say.
Yeah,
just pray about it. I said, so anyway, he wanted to wait till basketball season was over to make a decision. And we had gotten somebody that paid for some nice Under Armour pullovers. And I had given them out one day, and some of the kids were walking around the halls proudly wearing their new Under Armour pullovers. And he popped in my chemistry classroom and said, Mr. Edens, so if I take one of those, that means I'm playing, right? And I said, yeah. He goes, all right, cool. So he had committed, and I was really tickled for that to happen.
That's good stuff.
And he's been solid. Of course, we're having a little difficulty because he didn't get the arm condition with pitching. But as far as hitting, fielding, he's our shortstop when he's not pitching. He's our cleanup hitter. Hits really good deep bombs, several of them. He's got a triple each of our games so far. Really runs the bases really well. And then also the other one was Isaiah Pinto. That's my nephew, actually. And he was a big part of helping recruit some of the players. So he's in the halls and stuff and loves baseball. Had only played probably a handful of games in his life. But he loves it. He's, out there doing the best that he can. He's probably going to end up in the outfield for us. But he's also one of those ones that understands his role and is happy to do whatever is going to help the team. And that's one of the things we're trying to push because everybody wants to be on the field. We got 13 guys, which is a small roster.
Right.
But I kind of like that because I got 13 guys that are all hungry, and I've only got to disappoint 4 at a time because I can put 9 on the field there. So that was Isaiah Pinto. And then the other one was Hunter Reese. Now, as far as I know, Hunter Reese has not ever played baseball. I don't know. But he's kind of the class clown at our school. And so I told him that his role is going to be very important this season.
Keep everybody loose.
We're going to get our lumps this season. So last night he comes out there in his at-bat and pulls the bat out like he's pulling his sword from the sheath and points it at the crowd and gets everybody happy. He struck out to end the game, but everybody had a good time, and, that's kind of his role on the team there.
I love it.
That's our 3 seniors.
He and I need to sit and talk sometime. We could share some experiences. Again, I came from playing ball at Somerset High School and the glory years of Somerset baseball, and we went to the state tournament all 4 years. I was in high school, fortunately. Played in a totally different setting, but we had as many as 50 kids on the baseball team, okay?
Wow.
In a school that size because everybody wanted to play baseball. And Charlie Taylor would dress a lot of people now. Away games, sometimes he could only take a bus, 25, 35 kids, maybe something like that. But it came about because of success. Like you said, they're walking the halls and they see a jersey or a pullover and they go, I'd like to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes. I mean, if you can get, you know that better than I do, but if you can get 2 or 3 of the athletes in other sports to say, I'm going to give baseball a shot. And maybe they're not a star as they might have been on the basketball floor, the soccer field or wherever, but they're out there and they're willing to take a lump or 2. Then they tell the other kids, okay, he's pretty cool. He plays other sports.
Yeah.
And he's getting thumped a little bit, and he's taking it. So, and I just see a chance. I hope we can help you guys. I hope we can be a part. That's not help. That's not the word I'm looking for. Hope we can be a part of assisting you all as you grow. And I look forward to when you're on the schedule and it's just Somerset Christian. You know, we're not talking about it's something unique, it's something different, it's new. No, it's just Somerset Christian. They're just part of the local sports scene.
Yeah.
And you have been. I mean, it's just we're in a new sport now.
Well, this is also our first year for baseball in KHSAA. Actually, all the sports, I think last season was their first time.
Right. So this will give you this year and next year, right, as non-district, and then the third year.
I think so.
I think that's how that works. But the KHSA moves in mysterious ways, as they say.
Speaking of that, though, throughout the season so far, I've just kind of seen how God has worked everything together because, as I said, we didn't know back in November, December if we would even have enough for a team.
Right.
So while other people were probably in their field house getting things together, I'm begging kids to play baseball. So we finally get it settled that we're going to have a team. And when I get with Melody Stickley, our athletic director, and let her know, she loves baseball, by the way, so she's tickled that we're going to have a team, but she's very kind of reserved about her expectations, and she's seen how these things can go. So I let her know, and she puts in for our schedule, and I get the schedule back, and we get 12 games. That's the best she could do because we're so late in the game.
Right.
But you know how KHSAA shifted the schedule kind of late. And it
gave you a week.
Ticked off a lot of people, but I started getting calls and emails from coaches all over wanting to play us. So now we have a schedule that's closer to 21, possibly 23 games now.
Excellent.
As a result of that. So that's just one of the ways that God has moved things to make it, because you really need the reps. If we're going to, improve year over year, the guys are needing, 50, 60 at-bats minimum each. On a 12-game schedule, and you're getting thumped, possibly run ruled half the time, there's not a lot of at-bats there. So
well, and again, having tried to play the game a little bit, every day, baseball is a kind of game. If you take 3 days off, all of a sudden timing went out the window.
True.
You're back trying to find again. You're searching again. Now everybody's got indoor facilities, and, that's come along a long, long way. But it used to be you would fill the schedule as many games as they'd let you schedule because weather will get you a few times.
Right.
And the rest of the time you want to be swinging the bat. And I'm like you. I don't know if I'm like you. If I'm your kids, I'd rather play a game than have you hitting ground balls to me for an hour and a half. I don't know why, but for some reason there's a little more fun in the game part of this.
Absolutely. And we do try to get at least a half a practice in before the game.
Yes.
On game days, too. And this is my first time actually coaching at the high school level.
Mm-hmm.
So I coached, about a dozen years in Little League, and so kind of getting thrown in the deep end, like you were talking about, kind of getting out there. I feel myself kind of getting thrown out there in the deep end a little bit, but we tried to schedule teams that, are not perennial champs, and the best we could. We looked at the RPI, but one thing I'm learning is that RPI year over year can be drastically different.
Drastically.
Yeah. So far we haven't had any surprises in that category. And people are gracious enough to not throw their aces against us. And so it's just keeping the kids encouraged. I mean, they're able to put the bat on the ball. It feels like we're on a field with people we belong with so far. So,
well, the other thing is most coaches, now I know a few that I will leave out of that but most coaches understand where you guys are. They understand what what hand you have right now. And they want to see you succeed. They really do. I think most of them down deep want to see Somerset Christian playing a regular schedule of regular sports around here, like I said, and it not be different, that it not be anything out of the ordinary. It's just Somerset Christian is one of 4 high schools here in town that play high school sports.
Yeah.
And I really do think you guys are taking the tough steps right now, and some of these young men are going to look back 5 years, whenever it is, and they're going to say, hey, I was part of the foundation of what got done out there, and they'll be proud of it.
Absolutely. Especially that's what the seniors came in. I kept telling them about that, about building a foundation, getting it started. Luke, out there, like I said, he does it the right way. I mean, every practice he's making a diving play that's just amazing. Giving them something to look at to see this is kind of what you need to strive for. And we did recently schedule Somerset, and we're going to play with them. And, I know what to expect, what's going to happen, but I want the kids to see excellence, to see, this is something to strive for. Not to be discouraged, but to just kind of take away some takeaways to see that's the level that we need to be. That's where we want to be in the future.
Let's make sure we get through that roster
Okay.
that you have in front of you. We've got, we're not in a great push, 6-7 minutes before they shut us down.
Okay.
But make sure we get through that roster.
It's funny because I thought 20 minutes was way too long to be talking, but
No, we're
you're-
doing.
you're good at
You and
getting
I
us out
talk
of it.
all day. Hey, I'll talk baseball with you all day.
So my other nephew, Shadrach Barnett, number 10, is our pitcher. And now he is one that there he is right there.
Mm-hmm.
I've been coaching since like 5 years old, 5, 6 years old. But I was his head coach starting at 8 years old, brought him up to the Little League. So he's used to and gritty. So he's been my leadoff hitter since he was 8 years old. So I put him at leadoff again. He's got power now, but he'll hit it in the gaps, leg it out. He's early on right now hitting it really well. He's already 5 for 6 with 6 stolen bases.
Wow.
So he's fearless, and that's kind of the mentality that I want my
Right.
teams to have. Is you got to be gritty and fearless. I mean, he got picked off at third base the other night, getting a little aggressive. I don't mind those kind of outs early on,
Right.
and I tell them, I'm not going to be yelling at you guys for mistakes. Once you've learned, if you learn it. A guy got picked off the other night out of scrimmage. He was adjusting with each time the pitcher threw to first, but he was taking a bigger leadoff. So I told him, I
Yes.
said, you obviously knew you were doing something wrong. You just made the wrong correction.
Right.
So,
You went the wrong way.
yes. So Shadrach is important part. He also plays anywhere we need him. So like last night, he wasn't able to pitch. He started in left field. We had him come catch later, and then third base. We got an eighth grader, two eighth graders on the team. Aaron Doan, number 7. I believe he's played a couple seasons of baseball. He's had 3 at-bats, put the ball in play all 3 times. Hasn't reached safely yet, but lots of potential there. I mean, when he gets bigger and stronger and continues to play, you'll hear that name, Aaron Doan. I guarantee it. Isaiah Hensley is our other 8th grader. Now, he has played. He's probably got the most experience of anybody on the team. He's played travel ball and stuff, and he pitches for us. 8th grade, he's got a really good slider. I don't want to give out the whole scouting report, but he is a big part. I mean, he's one of those ones that I feel like God just gifted me with. I didn't do anything to develop this guy, but we've got somebody like that that's great. And then a couple first-year players here. We got A.J. Holland. A.J. Holland is a sophomore, never played baseball before. I'm kind of been teaching him the basic fundamentals, but he is hungry, very hungry, and every opportunity he gets, he's coming. I heard in a neighbor of his, Gavin Lewis, who's a freshman, had played a little bit when he was younger. He's our catcher. Gavin and AJ go to the park in Science Hill on a given Saturday. They'll spend 4 hours there working on their
Awesome.
craft. In fact, I worked with both of them today in the cage a little bit, and they're just intelligent kids. That's one thing, if I say about our team, we have quite a few intelligent players. And you teach them one time,
That helps.
and they do it right. And they start drilling it, and you see them, and they step out of the box and start doing what I taught them. I love doing it, because I don't have a lot of time to keep drilling it in. And so then A.J. Ray, Anthony Ray, is a sophomore. I coached him at the Little League level. He's hadn't played since Little League, so he's kind of raw right now. Got him on the mound last night. Hadn't even had an opportunity because my plan, I had 5 pitchers that I was comfortable going into this, where they hadn't had their arms conditioned. This is an issue I've already got worked out with our new athletic director and basketball coach, Al Gover. We're going to have an off-season throwing, and this problem, I won't have it next year. So anyways, I had to go to A.J. Ray, who hadn't pitched in like 4 years. He gets out there and bounces each and every warm-up pitch. And even Al was in the booth keeping book, and he said he needs to pull him. My son was up there with him. Said, he needs to pull him. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. And I spoke to my assistant coach, Greg Scott, and I said, AJ is an athlete. He'll figure it out. I think he walked the first batter, but then he pitched 2 innings and only gave up 1 run.
Excellent.
And including a strikeout there. So he did great. Put it together. Now, Tristan Rubel is a really good backup center fielder we have. And he's quick. He's got wheels. I mean, on the base pass, once he starts learning it, he is quick. He's going to be great. He I think he played on the bench when they had a middle school team a few years back. And that's basically his baseball experience.
Right.
He's a quick learner. And he just came on the day that we took team photos. So that's how much experience he had. And Charles Scott is a all-around athlete who played on the basketball team with Luke and waited till after the season to commit. His dad is the one that's been helping me coach. Charles has got to hit each of the first 2 games, hadn't played in years.
Wow.
I'm telling you, at least 3 years most of these players hadn't played. Isaiah Sweet, first time ever playing baseball. He's a lefty. We put him in the outfield. Country boy who, just good old boy who makes you smile. I mean, he's out there. I believe he got beamed the first game, just smiled down the first base, took it in stride. And Emery Whitescarver is just a recent transfer to the school. He has never played baseball before, but he's hungry and has been out there. His sister was playing softball, and I'd see him and my nephew out there throwing the baseball before we even had a program. And he's a good athlete, tracking balls in center field. He's my starting center fielder now, tracking balls and
I love it.
Making some good grabs last night. So that rounds out.
You got them all?
Yeah.
Let me borrow that just a second. We're going to wish you all the best as we're getting ready to wrap this thing up. Is there anybody else that you want to drop a thank you to, somebody that's supporting your program, somebody that you just want to say hi to? Like, I don't know if you got a wife at home, she has to put up with you being at baseball practice all the time. That might be a pretty good way to wrap this up.
Yep. Tanya, if you're watching, I know you'll watch it later. I love you, and she holds down the fort. She's been actually helping what we do to make money. She's been taking over that too. So she's been very supportive. I get to be in this light. This is the first time I ever had the lights on me, but none of this happens without all the people behind the scenes. And all the faculty and staff at Somerset Christian School and the janitors, the field guys, all that stepped up. Thank you guys so much, because this has been a dream of mine to coach like this. And, you cannot do it without, especially starting from scratch, Melody and Al, they've been huge. So thank you guys very much.
Put us in the we're on your side family. We want to see you guys succeed. We're going to do what we can to help that.
Okay.
We'll see you soon on a baseball diamond not too far from here, Coach.
That sounds great.
He's Anthony Eden's head coach of the Somerset Christian School Cougars. I love the uniforms, by the way. I just saw one of your players. Well,
Okay.
I assume those are your all's uniforms.
Yes.
The pinstripes?
Yes.
Oh, I love them.
Yes.
Yeah, I may have to get my picture made with one of them. Coach, best of luck. I appreciate your time. If you want to lay that headset to the side, we're going to sign this thing off. I think I'm going to look at Pat. We're done, I think, with all the coaches. Is that right? Hey, we want to thank everybody for coming out and joining us tonight. We started this thing way back about 6 o'clock with a celebration of Junior Mullen and the Southwestern Warriors ladies Final Four basketball team. As you can probably tell in the background, they're still interviewing athletes down to my right, and they're having a good time down there. But for all the coaches who took time to come out tonight to spend time with us, for the good people here at Buffalo Wings and Rings, for all their support of high school athletics, for everybody who takes a moment, say something nice to these kids who put out the time and the effort, and the sponsors who make it possible for us. We're going to see you on a baseball or softball diamond somewhere real soon. For Pat and Kevin and Bob and Jeremiah and Kelly, and I don't know who else might be here, but for all of us at Lake Cumberland Sports, good night, everybody.